I honestly can't believe that I'm going to ask this, and I can't believe that I mean this. And I'm not being, it's unbelievable. And I'm not being flip when I say this. Like, I mean this. Hood man. You all right? You okay, Hood man? Are you okay? Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say, are you in control of your faculties? Because I believe that you are. But what I want to know is, are you still in control? Are you in control of your business? Are you in control of your personal life? Are you calling your own shots? What exactly is going on with Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old squeeze? Given the last 48 hours, I think the question is legitimate. Yo, Hood, blink twice if you need to be saved. Yes, the Jordon Hudson thing was strange from the beginning. No doubt about that. Dating somebody a half a century younger than you is extreme in any circumstance. I mean, do the math. Make that math make sense. A half a century. However, the guy has also always lived an extreme lifestyle. Always. He's a different kind of cat, and the bottom line is we all just kind of assume that he could handle himself. I mean, after all, he's Bill Belichick. He's Bill freaking Belichick, after all. A legendary and fearsome leader of men. One of the toughest and most no-nonsense figures in the history of American sports. In a fierce and violent game. So one would assume that he would be able to keep a handle on his relationship with a 24-year-old, right? Maybe not. Let's not get into that. Apparently not. At least it would seem. And what am I basing this on? Of course, that interview that we saw, the CBS This Morning disaster from over the weekend. After seeing that, I'm not exactly sure that this guy is all right. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. And people much closer to him than me, he and I aren't very close, people much closer to him than me are wondering the same thing. Some are even throwing around the words elder abuse. And never mind him being a predator, also something that's been thrown around. Others have flipped it on its head like, hey man, is this not a case of elder abuse? Like he's trapped by Jordon in some kind of a abusive web. And while I do think that is extreme, and I do think that he's capable of making his own decisions, at least at this point, it is getting tougher and tougher to deny that something very peculiar, very strange, very out of the ordinary is happening here. And I don't just mean out of the ordinary for you and I in our normal, boring lives. I mean completely out of character, even for Bill Belichick. But since we only played the controversial, buzzy clip in the after hour yesterday, let me reset it right now in case you somehow missed it. This is what got everybody's attention in the first place. Jordon bombing in during his CBS interview and cutting off a question about how the two of them met.
Jordon was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordon right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
Awkward. Weird.
That's private.
A little creepy in that they won't talk about how they met. And the easiest way to make even more people ask even more questions about the nature of their relationship and how they met is to handle it like that. But also, it is very possible that maybe it was agreed upon beforehand that their relationship was off limits in this interview. I mean, that sort of thing does happen, actually, all the time. It's actually not that abnormal. But her reaction, though, was pretty fierce. But that type of thing does happen. You know, maybe she was put off if she laid out the parameters of the interview before and said, we're not talking about our personal life. We're not talking about how we met. I mean, I would say, like, she may have said this one thing, but I bet she said there were a lot of things that we're not talking about. But in particular, that one thing. Or maybe because I don't know her and I haven't seen her in action, maybe that was pretty standard behavior. Maybe that was SOP, standard operating procedure. But she did seem pretty fierce, right? So come to find out, that might have been, so in and of itself, in a vacuum, bad optics. Like all sorts of bad optics, all sorts of bad things, just from that one clip alone. But apparently, those were not the only fireworks. Apparently, come to find out, that was far from the only Jordon interruption, reportedly. It wasn't just that one sensitive topic. According to TMZ, this is what TMZ is reporting, and I quote, "We're told outside of that baffling moment that made the final edit, there were numerous other instances of Hudson butting in, even when the legendary coach was answering questions about football. She would stop and correct him." End of quote. Key phrase, that was the part they left in. That was the part that made the final edit. However, questions about football. Correcting him about football. He's the GOAT. She would stop and interrupt Bill Belichick.
What?
She would stop and interrupt Bill Belichick, if this is true, during a CBS interview, even when the topic was football. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. That strikes me as extremely bizarre, bordering on alarming. Since when would Bill be okay with that? That doesn't sound like the hood man at all. It really starts to kind of reframe that entire dynamic there, right? The greatest football coach of all time can't handle softball questions about football from a non-sports entity, from a feel-good weekend morning show. What?
What?
Other than trying to dictate and control the situation and the narrative completely, why in the world would she interrupt, interject, or object to any football-related questions? If this is true, that makes no sense at all. Actually trying to dictate what a network like that can and can't ask that person that they're interviewing also makes no sense. But why does anybody do anything because they can, and she seemingly is acting as if she can do whatever the hell she wants, including correct Bill Belichick on football? Question is, as it relates to the alleged GOAT, I mean, can she actually do whatever she wants? Like, she's not just this social media person who's also kind of dipping her toe in PR. That quote gives the vibe that she's gathering more and more power and handling more and more things. You know, like when he worked for the Patriots all those years, he had some PR grunt, some PR valet, some PR flack, other staffers who I'm sure handled all his administrative activities. But it's almost like he's just giving it all to her, giving it all to one person. And this one person, she's no traveling secretary now. You just saw her. She just backed down some interviewer on CBS. She seems to be calling the shots. Now, another telling detail I thought that TMZ included in its report was that they showed up to the CBS interview alone. Just the two of them. No PR flack. Nobody from the book publisher. Nobody from North Carolina. Just Hood and Jordon. Weird, man. That's very strange. Even the CBS producers said they were creeped out by that. As if she just boxed everybody out and said, I've got this. I'm running this. Or maybe she didn't have to say anything at all. Well, I'm sure she did for something that big. See, for interviews that big, people do show up. People who have a vested interest show up. The book people, the school people, you know, confidants from his inner team. It sounds like she is the inner team. In fact, even the dude doing the actual interview was apparently, quote, spooked, end of quote, by the entire interaction. And apparently there was supposed to be a second part of the interview, and CBS scrapped it because she was such a terror and the whole thing was such a disaster. Like, that's what they were able to salvage from that sit down, what we saw. I don't really understand how something like this could hop so far off the rails, considering, again, it was just a simple little Sunday morning CBS interview to help the dude promote his book, which, by the way, is technically what I'm doing right now. Technically, that interview did get the word out about that book. So maybe she really is that smart. Maybe she's just playing five-dimensional chess. Maybe she is a PR master, and he's laughing his ass off. Maybe. But here's the reason that it may matter. Here's the reason that it may be more than just a matter of, hey, man, we're all good. We just sold a whole lot of books. We got a whole lot of clicks. We got a whole lot of people to pay attention to a book that's probably pretty academic. We just farmed a whole lot of engagement. Here's the thing about that. TMZ also reports that the interview, quote, isn't sitting well, end quote, with his employers at UNC. And there's, quote, a growing sense that this could become a problem, end quote. Oh! They have a growing sense that this could become a problem? That's funny. I've got a growing sense that it's already a problem. I have the growing sense that UNC did not think that they were going to have to deal directly with and even have to answer to a 24-year-old girlfriend when they hired the greatest football coach ever. I can't imagine that when they hired the Hood, they thought they'd have to run anything through her or concern themselves in any way with her, or better yet, answer to her. He's freaking Bill Belichick. And I definitely didn't think that they envisioned their new football coach letting his 24-year-old girlfriend make a scene like that on national television. I would think all of this probably comes as a not-so-pleasant surprise to the power players in Chapel Hill. Now, to her credit, she's still out here fighting the good fight, still pushing back against critics. Earlier today, she leaked an email written by Belichick himself about how he'd like his book to be framed by the media. Like, he's still trying to control this. They're trying to control it. They're trying to control the narrative. Like things like, can we kill that column? If that headline reads like that, can we kill that? Wrong pull quote. Yeah, I mean, crazy stuff like that. It's really goofy and really weird that she leaked, didn't even leak, but posted an email from him that was written internally about, hey, I didn't really want, I didn't think that they would take that one line about me effing up in the book, and then that's what they're running with. I wanted this book to be about the way I built my career and about what football means to me and about how I took this few $1 million that Kraft had and I turned it into like $8 zillion. And why aren't we talking about how amazing I am? And, why are they talking about that one line? They pulled that one line from the book where I said I effed up. Why is that the only thing anybody's talking about? What about me and Pops? What about me at the Naval Academy? What about the fact that football's my life? I love football. Why are we not talking about that? Why is every article all about how I effed up? I knew I shouldn't have put that in there. Yeah, that's essentially what he's doing. Anyway, whatever point, and that's what, that was actually the email. That literally was the email. I just paraphrased it in his voice. There it is. That email. You don't need to squint and read it. I just did it off the top of my head. That's the email that she posted. It starts off like, I can squint. All. And it ends with, thanks, Bill. She posted that. So now she's posting internal emails about what they think and how they think the book should be framed. Anyway, whatever point she thought she was making by doing that didn't land. Although she did promise a, quote, full statement to follow. So who knows exactly what that full statement is going to say. That looked like a full statement. So what's her full statement to that full statement? I have no idea, but I'm sure she'll have one. I just think that it's so weird that the Hood is okay with her just posting screenshots of his private emails to social media.
Private.
I mean, this guy never gave up anything about anything. This guy never answered a single question in one press conference like in 25 years. And then that's an internal email that she's just blasting out to the world? Weird. Like, the whole thing is weirding me out. I even got beyond that whole 49-year age difference. Now that we're seeing the dynamics of the relationship and what's going on here, it's kind of weirding me out.